Right. Gather around. K-Star's Disability Benefits U-Town is the plot twist no one saw coming. Right. Gather around because K-Star just pulled off a U-Town so spectacular it could qualify for Britain's Got Talent. The man who promised to be the steady hand on the tiller has just done a complete 180 on disability benefits, and it's left everyone asking, is this leadership or just really expensive panic? I'm your host from UK Plug, and today we're diving into the political car crash that's got 120 Labour MPs basically telling their own PM to jog on. Seriously, when your own party stages a rebellion bigger than most Tory leadership contests, you know you stepped in it. So grab your popcorn, because this is messier than a Sunday roast with the in-laws. Let's start with the numbers, shall we? 120 Labour MPs. That's not a gentle disagreement over tea and biscuits. That's a full-scale mutiny. Picture this. Starmer walks into a room expecting nodding heads and polite applause, but instead finds more rebellion than a teenage house party when the parents are away. The issue? A cheeky little £5.5 billion pound slash to the benefit system that would make it harder to get personal independence payments and universal credit. Because, apparently, making life harder for disabled people was somehow on Labour's to-do list, right between fix the NHS and solve the housing crisis. But here's where it gets spicy. Starmer's own MPs basically said, absolutely not, mate, with a kind of unity usually reserved for debating pineapple on pizza. It's like watching your favorite football team score an own goal, then argue with the ref about whether it counts. And it gets better, because when you're in a hole, the classic British political response is apparently to grab a bigger shovel and keep digging. So, faced with this rebellion, what does Starmer do? Does he scrap the whole thing? Does he admit that maybe, just maybe, cutting support for disabled people might not be the vote winner he thought it was? Oh, no, that would be too simple. Instead, he's gone for what I like to call the grandfather clause special. Essentially, right, if you're already claiming benefits, you're fine. But if you become disabled after we pass this bill, sorry, tough luck. It's like having two queues at the same shop, one for people who got there early, and another for everyone else, who gets charged double for the same Mars bar. Imagine explaining that to your kids. Well, sweetie, some disabled people get full support and others get less, depending on whether they won the lottery or when they became disabled. Disability charities are having absolutely none of it. Disability Rights UK basically said, cheers, but no thanks to this generous offer. And honestly, can you blame them? It's like being offered a sandwich where half the filling's been removed, and being told to be grateful it's still technically a sandwich. Now, you might be thinking, surely the rebels are happy now. Well, hold on to your hats, because this is where it gets properly interesting. Here's the thing about political rebellions. Once you've tasted the sweet nectar of telling your bosses they're wrong, it's hard to go back to just nodding along. Some of these 120 rebels are still planning to vote against the bill next Tuesday because, apparently, they can spot a dodgy compromise from a mile away. But, and this is the political equivalent of a plot twist, enough of them are expected to decay that the bill will probably pass anyway. It's like watching a mutiny where half the pirates decide they quite fancy keeping their jobs after all. Every political U-turn comes with a price tag, and this one's an absolute whopper. This little climb down is going to cost the Treasury around £3.53 billion. That's billion with a B, enough money to buy every person in Britain a decent cup of coffee and a biscuit. Rachel Reeves, our Chancellor, now has to find this money like she's checking down the back of the sofa cushions. The government's doing that classic dance of, we won't borrow more money permanently, while simultaneously refusing to rule out tax rises. It's like saying, I'm definitely not eating that last chocolate, while already reaching for it. You can almost hear Treasury officials having a collective nervous breakdown. They are probably updating their CVS and wondering if accountancy really was a safe career choice their parents promised. Here's the thing. This isn't just about disability benefits. This is about what happens when a government tries to balance the books on the backs of the most vulnerable and discovers their own MPs have a conscience. Starmer's learned the hard way that being Prime Minister isn't just about making tough decisions. It's about making decisions your own party can live with. And when 120 of your MPs are willing to publicly disagree with you, that's not just a policy disagreement. That's a trust issue. The real question is, what happens next? If this is how Labour MPs react to cuts to disability benefits, imagine what happens when the really tough decisions start rolling in. We could be looking at a government constantly fighting its own backbenchers, which is about as effective as trying to drive a car with the steering wheel arguing with the engine. So here's what I want to know. Do you think Starmer has handled this right? Is a two-tier system better than no system at all, or is this just political cowardice dressed up as compromise? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this slow-motion car crash as much as I enjoyed explaining it, smash that like button like a rebellious Labour MP. And if you want to stay ahead of the political curve, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. Because if there's one thing British politics guarantees, it's that there's always another crisis brewing just around the corner. Until next time, this is UK Plug reminding you, stay informed, stay engaged, and maybe keep a spreadsheet of all these U-turns, because honestly, I'm losing track. Cheers.